We are in the very first chilly autumn days of September, and the forest is breaking out into fiery colors. This time of the year sometimes comes with a bit of nostalgia for me. Seeing the bright nights fade while the darkness is growing. But this year I feel slightly relieved. Summer comes with so much light and movement, and this year I found it a little bit hard to keep up with it. We had a lot of projects going on. One of them being preparing for a school tour that we will have in the winter. In this school tour, we will be teaching 800 kids about foraging and plant knowledge. We decided we had to forage all of the plants beforehand since it might be snow in November. And that turned out to be quite the project. I didn't get anything done today. I'm pretty, unsatisfied with myself. As you guys know, I love foraging, so there couldn't really be any better job for me, basically. But I guess it was the number of people we would be foraging for that just really made me a little bit overwhelmed. Our small apartment just got more and more filled with plants. And it was really cozy, but we really started to feel like we had a lack of space. This led us to make a final decision on something that we have been dreaming of doing for a very long time. So, this August we moved to a house. When we moved here half a year ago, we ended up moving into an apartment eventually, because at that time we didn't have any plan, we didn't have a job, we didn't know how to earn money this year, and we wanted to live from our art and our freelancing, but we didn't really know how it was going to play out. So we decided to move somewhere that was even cheaper than the house, because we just felt like it was a little bit safer, and the apartment was super cozy and the place was very close to the train station and all the things that we need because we don't have a car, so it's hard to live very far from like the city or the town center. So yeah, and we have had such a good time in that apartment, but now we finally have more work and things are going to kind of work out, so we decided now we should try to move to a house. This house is actually on the same farm that we have been living on for half a year, and it just became available this summer when we were starting to feel a little bit cramped up in the apartment with all the plants. It is the oldest and, in my opinion, the coziest house on the whole farm. When we moved in, we felt like the house needed some love. There were a few solutions in the house that we really wanted to change out. And we were really excited to make it our own in a way. There were, however, some challenges with that. The first one being that we were, as usual, on a budget, so we would have to get a lot of things secondhand or just do with what we have and create something new from it. And we also, of course, are renting, so we couldn't really do whatever we wanted to the house. I decided I wanted to share some of what we did in this video. I thought maybe it might be of inspiration to some people if you guys also are on a budget and you are renting. Not only is it environmentally friendly to reuse things instead of buying new things, but it's also quite fun, I think. The only problem with it, I guess, is that it doesn't always turn out exactly how you imagine it in your head when you're putting together all these things from different places. So I guess some of our rooms still need some work, especially the living room. Yeah, so let's actually start with that transformation. When we moved in, the living room looked like this. And it was really bright and beautiful, but as rental properties usually are, it was sort of anonymous, so we really wanted to make it a little bit more our own. And also we wanted to bring in some more warmth to the space, because a lot of the colors in here were pretty cold and bright. There were two sofas in this room. One was this green one and the other one was this beige one. And luckily our house owners agreed that we could remove the beige one and give it away, because we really wanted to have like a guest sofa or guest bed here. So in general we don't really like these large and puffy sofas, so as soon as we removed the beige one we started looking for some more small but nice guest sofas that we could buy, but we quickly realized that they were all quite expensive. So this sofa or bed or what you call it was actually something that we were going to buy from IKEA. We needed a guest bed, but then somebody actually were just giving away a bed that was the exact same, and it was in the nearby town that is just 10 minutes from here. Like, what are the chances? So when we finished this sofa, I have to admit I didn't love it. It was very big and the drawers were a bit worn down and they had stickers on them. But we did some changes to it and now it looks pretty good. I changed out the knobs with some I found on the thrift shop. And we also added more of a colory blanket and some pillows that they were actually giving away for free in a farm nearby here. And then Bendik managed to grab a hold of a shelf in a flea market. It was a bit too yellow in the color, so we decided to wax it with a different color. The color turned out a little bit too dark for our taste, but we decided we would try it out anyways. Seems so strong until it falls. The final straw. I never felt like this before. When I was drunk, you showed it open. Det var så bråttom. And since he's so keen on being on camera, I thought I might introduce this little guy. This is Flint, our new family member. Yeah, got lost admiring this cat a little bit, but yeah, back to the living room. We of course hung Bendik's artworks from when we were in the mountains last November. And I decided to fill the shelf over by the kitchen with my foraging stuff. Then we added a lot of plants and they really looked nice with the green wall. And we had a lot of candles that we found dumpster diving earlier this year. So by bringing some of these warmer elements in, we hope to create a nice little cozy area where people could sleep and where we could sit. And even if it still needs some work, we are pretty happy with what we managed to do so far. We were
dancing on a wire, reckless it seems. We found holes in these walls, we like what we saw. Seems so strong until it falls, the final straw. Oh, I never felt like this before. When I was trapped, you showed
I think one of my favorite things that we did is that we moved this sofa so that it's in front of the fireplace. Because now it's starting to get cold outside and it's so nice to sit there in the morning with my coffee and just get warm before I start the day. And this is the space that is not really finished. I think we definitely need a bigger table if we want to have more guests than just 2 people.
we danced, we fought.
Also, these days it mostly ends up being Bendik's work table, so we will probably need to install a desk somewhere, maybe here by the window, and then get a bigger dinner table. So that's it with the living room for now, moving on to the next room. Hello you guys, I am in the bedroom, and this is kind of the oldest room of this house, which is kind of the part where the house started and then they have like built other things on it after that. And we are going to start painting it today because we kind of like pink color. It's kind of cool, but when it's dark in here, it kind of turns a little bit more orange. So I just decided that I want to paint the room in a tone that makes me feel like sleeping. Because I am usually a person that when I go to bed I have problems falling asleep. When we finally now will have like a room that is actually just for sleeping and not like a work room combined with a bed, combined with a table, I want to like do everything I can to feel calm in here and just create this little zen space in a way. Look at this beautiful blue wall. And we also painted the window frame so that it's a bit more white. It's a typical problem with old roofs that you have dust like this coming out of it. But there is actually a solution that is better than tape. Yup, it's wool. This looks so much nicer than the tape solution that was here before. Because that looked more like this. Yeah! I found these lacy curtains hidden away in a cabinet. And I was really happy when I found them because they were the exact type of curtains that I wanted for this room. And then I needed to find a matching curtain for the other window. So I went to the thrift shop and I found this. While we were working on this, August turned to September. The temperatures were dropping, which made the mist start to rise again. I ran out once in a while to take a break and admire the change. We wanted a shelf above the bed, and we wanted it to be in a brown, sort of dark color. So we bought a shelf in the thrift shop, and I tried to stain it with vinegar and coffee. Not sure I would recommend it though, but it sort of turned out alright. I think it's mostly because it's in this room and you can't really see how strange it looks, but if it was in a brighter room, you would probably see that I didn't stain it that well. Well, hello there. I just thought I would show you how the bedroom turned out, and because this is the room that is just like finished, and I just really love being here right now. It's kind of my favorite room in this whole house right now. Most of the furniture we have in this room was either things we had thrifted or things we had from before. What really changed the room was definitely the paint. It made the room look way brighter and also bigger in a way. But this woolen carpet that we bought also made quite a difference. It gave the glossy floor a little bit more of a texture. I'm also a fan of the placement of this chair, because from this position you can see the mountains through the window. And I guess that sort of leads us to the next project. As soon as we finished the bedroom, I started working on some things outside of the house. The first one being giving the windows a new stroke of paint. The nice house owners luckily had some leftover paint for these windows, so I just painted them the same color that they were before. It was a very tedious and long job, but the house looked very different after I did that. Then I also painted the railing red so that it would match the windows. Then I painted the fence. And then I hung some old flower pots that I had from before. At this point I kind of told myself that I needed to take a break, but I thought it was so much fun, so I didn't really stop. Me and my friend Ragnhild created some flower beds in these old boxes that our house owners were very kind to give us from their basement. Having big boxes like this for the plants is a good idea here in Norway because it helps the plants survive the winter when they have more soil. After we got the flowers in, I was starting to feel pretty satisfied with the outdoor area in the front of the house. But there was one final thing. The floor of the terrace. I both scrubbed it and stained it 2 times, and it made a huge difference. One final thing that we did on the outside that really made a big difference was that we scraped the moss off the roof. And it was super satisfying when it was done. So yesterday we finally finished scraping the moss off this roof. And it took quite some time. I think these projects will be continuing forever and ever, since I apparently really love doing this. So yeah, I'm not gonna be able to finish the video when we are finished with everything, so I will just finish it now, and then maybe I will show you later what we do with, for example, the garden, and yeah. So that will be the end for this video, but it will not be the end for my projects. In my next video I create my first ever office for myself. So stay tuned for that if you're interested in this kind of stuff like me. But if you're not, then I promise you I will be back to the foraging content eventually. Have a great week everyone, and thank you for watching.